Ever since Galaxy's Edge opened, I've been seeing the same question pop up over and over. Will Batuu appear in Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker, or The Mandalorian, or any other live-action production? I have no idea, but since Black Spire recently came out, I figured why not talk about it? I do think it's very possible to see Batuu on screen. Maybe not in The Rise of Skywalker, but sooner or later I think it'll happen. From a purely cynical business perspective, it just screams corporate synergy to have Batuu appear in Episode 9, for example, even if it's only for a moment. The park will have been open at Disneyland for about 6 months by that point, and about 4 at Disney World. It'll still be pretty fresh on everyone's minds, and then one of the biggest movies or TV shows of the year could work it into the story. Boom, free advertising. I'm not saying I want that to happen because that would feel overly synergistic to me. Is that even a word, synergistic? I think it would be distracting for Batuu to show up in the middle of The Rise of Skywalker. But I've also been thinking all the Galaxy's Edge tie-in materials released over the past few months seemed like a little much, but I've been pleasantly surprised by just about all of them, especially Black Spire and the comic series. From a production standpoint, the sets are all built. The park looks fantastic and probably holds up to closer scrutiny than most actual film sets. Even though I'm a little iffy about the motivations behind showing Batuu on screen, part of me feels like it would be a waste not to. Reading the Galaxy's Edge comic, Black Spire, and A Crash of Fate, I'd be lying if I said I didn't get excited reading about places I felt like I'd seen. I've been in Dok-Ondar's, I've walked down Smuggler's Alley. Visiting the park and being able to stand where you know a Star Wars story took place would be pretty awesome. But what caught my eye the most as I was thinking about this question is one little quote from Michael Siglain, creative director of Lucasfilm Publishing. At the Lucasfilm Publishing panel at San Diego Comic-Con this past year, he described 2 books as required reading for knowing the backstory for The Rise of Skywalker, Resistance Reborn and Black Spire. Now, I don't think you'll have to read those books to understand what happens in the movie at all, but it's curious that Black Spire is on that list. My first thought is that Siglain means it'll be more thematically relevant than anything. In the book, the people of Batuu were pretty relaxed about the First Order, kinda like what we saw in Season 1 of Star Wars Resistance. Eventually, the citizens are pushed far enough that they want to push back, and that attitude might be important in Episode 9. Or maybe the events of the book will directly connect with the movie. Maybe we will see Batuu on the big screen. I still think it's unlikely to show up in Episode 9. A mention makes more sense to me rather than forcing the story to involve the park. There's too much going on already in the final chapter of the Skywalker saga, and I don't want to feel like Batuu is shoehorned in. The Mandalorian makes a lot more sense to me, and for some reason I'd feel better about it too. I guess because I know so little about that story, and we know it takes place on the fringes of the galaxy. It feels like a more natural location to visit for the show than the movie. I do think we'll see Batuu on the big or small screen someday. The only question is when, in my opinion. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments when and where you think or want Black Spire to appear, if at all. And if you're interested in Black Spire, since it might be required reading for Episode 9, consider picking it up for free on Audible. Just follow the link in the description or visit www.audibletrial.com/Star Wars Explained. The audiobook is out right now, and the production value on all the Star Wars books is very high with sound effects and music. It's like listening to a movie. Signing up for an Audible trial will get you a credit for 1 free book, and you can use it on Black Spire or just about any Star Wars book you can think of. Or get any book you want. The point is, you get a free book, and you'll be supporting the channel when you do. But that's it for today. If you haven't already, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and consider checking out our Patreon page. As always, thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.